folks, welcome back to another list with yours truly, Sam Healy. Today we're going to be talking about, yes, it is that time of the year again, Essen Spiel. And I am not going to be there. We're going to be talking about games that you should go demo, if you were me, at Essen Spiel in Essen, Germany. And this is one of the conventions that I really enjoy going to. It is a huge convention. It is a sprawling convention, so it's definitely not for the faint of heart. But with that having been said, I've got no less than 11 booths that I want you to go by and check out. If you find that your gaming interests and likes align with mine, I think I've got your huckleberries here, and I've got 11 booths, and I've got 15 games that you should go take a look at. So let's hit it. All right, now I've got my computer here set up so that I can pretty much give you the lowdown on each of these different titles and still try to do it in a concise manner. I'm getting all this information from the Spiel preview list that is on BoardGameGeek.com. If you do not know what BoardGameGeek.com is, you need to go check it out because it is a great tool for the board gaming hobbyist and just to find information about board games that are coming out. What I've done here is that I've pretty much segregated those booths according to what hall they're in. So I'm going to go through the Hall 4, Hall 3, and Hall 2. Yes, I don't have any games that I'm looking to demo in Hall 1. Sorry. First booth that I want you to go by and check out, if you are like me, is Win-Win Board Games. They are going to be in booth Hall 4, booth F114. And the reason I'm sending you there is because I would want to check out this game called Four Horsemen. It is a game for 1 to 4 players, 60 to 120 minutes, so an hour or two. It's a cooperative deck construction game. But here's the theme. Four Horsemen is an epic cooperative resource management deck building game where players take up the mantle of legendary heroes to prevent the end of the world. That's honorable! I love that kind of stuff. Players will face off against a main demonic foe, and they'll need to utilize their followers to stop catastrophic events, acquire relics, and delay the final ride of the Four Horsemen. That just sounds cool to me. So, this is a game that I wanted to go check out at Gen Con. I wasn't there. So I want to go check it out at Essen, but I'm not going to be there either. So I'm telling you to go check it out. The next booth I want you to go check out is a booth called Arcona Games. A-R-C-H-O-N-A Games, Arcona Games. They are going to be in booth Hall 4, booth J108. J108, and there are basically 2 games that are here. One is called Philharmonics. It's a really neat game that is all about taking your orchestra or your Philharmonic sections and putting on performances throughout the galaxy. You are basically the role of a space orchestra manager, and it's a worker placement game that combines music and sci-fi and an out-of-this-world experience, it says. So send your orchestra on missions to perform on different planets, strategically acquire new talented musicians, and train them to reach their full potential. It's got a lot going on, but go check that out. That is Philharmonics. The other one that really kind of caught my eye, and this one caught my eye more than Philharmonics did, and that is called The Great Harbor. Build your Roman colony, fight pirates, and use the Great Harbor of Carthage. So it looks like it's 2 to 4 players, anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours. So again, it's 1 to 2 hours. Build your Roman colony in the Mediterranean, trade and engage with the Great Harbor of Carthage, construct mighty ships to fight the Sicilian pirates in this dice drafting worker placement game. Ooh, I like the sound of that. So dice rolling, modular board, multi-use cards, variable player powers, worker placement with dice workers. Ooh, love it. Love that kind of stuff. So this one really appealed to me. This one is, I've already played Philharmonics. I'm actually doing a preview, and we're going to be doing a live playthrough for them during their Kickstarter campaign for Philharmonics. But here's the thing. Great Harbor is super down my alley. So I'm sending you to Arcona Games for the Great Harbor because I'm going to be showing you how to play Philharmonics in a little bit. But go check out the Great Harbor and Philharmonics, Arcona Games, Hall 4, booth J108. The next booth I want you to go see in Hall 4 is F120, Hall 4 F120, and that is Jimblo Company's booth. Now, if this is the same company, they made another game called Jimblo that I really did enjoy, a spatial organization game, really neat game that I used to enjoy. If it's the same company, I think it is, because this is unfortunately a Korean version of Battlegrounds, the board game. Now, this is PUBG Battlegrounds, the board game. And it looks interesting. I'm super interested in a lot of these newer games that are video games, but now they are making board game versions of them, and some of them are really good. Battlegrounds, the board game, is a battle royale game that can be played with 1 to 6 players. The game provides FFA, team mode, and solo mode with AI enemies. They use a variety of weapons and strategies to fight to the last man standing. So you've got action point mechanisms, dice rolling, grid movement, hand management, and so forth and so on. So it's basically a first-person shooter board game style that I would be interested in that. So I'm sending you to go check it out. I don't know how much of it means, the Korean edition, how much of it means that it's going to be language dependent. I don't know, but I would still be going to check it out to try to get a demo to see how it plays. Whether I can understand the Korean language version of it or not, I still want to see how the game plays. So that's why I'm sending you. The last booth I'd be sending you to in Hall 4 is E130. That is Ape Games, APE, Ape Games, in Hall 4 booth E130. And this is to check out a game called Chaos Cove. This was also on my Gen Con list, and I wasn't able to see it there. So I'd be trying to go see it here at Essen as well. But Chaos Cove is a game by Martin Wallace. This is a big wig. This guy knows what he's doing as far as design choices are concerned. This is about a 2-hour game for 2 to 4 players. But the artwork grabbed me, and then I saw Martin Wallace's name, and I was like, okay, I'm down. So if we take a look at some of the mechanisms here, there are chaining, multi-use cards. So I'm assuming that you're going to be using these cards to chain different possibilities together. It's a semi-cooperative game, and it's a worker placement game. So this is all stuff that's pushing me down towards I would probably enjoy this. A resounding bell tolls, BGG says, signaling the epic battle that awaits. Ever vigilant, you assemble your team, scour your stockpiles for supplies, and arm yourselves to confront the ruthless hordes of barbarian and pirate invaders. Engage in competition with fellow players to etch your name into the annals of town legend. However, cooperation could be crucial to keep Chaos Cove from the brink of oblivion. And once victory is achieved, revel in triumph by tapping into the barrels of the finest rum, throwing a legendary party in the world we'll talk about for ages. So it says, experience Martin Wallace at his best in this highly interactive worker placement game. I'm sold. I want to go check this game out. I want to see how it plays. And so I'm sending you to Ape Games. I've got 6 booths in Hall 3 for you to go check out. So the first one is Dranda Games. Dranda Games, it's in Hall 3, booth Q124. And that is to check out this game called Mutagen. Mutagen, first of all, the artwork reached out to me. Second of all, the theme reached out to me. A new biopunk world where biological enhancements are the best way to victory. So I'm getting some cyberpunk vibes. It is not a cyberpunk IP, but that's what I'm getting. I'm getting some cyberpunk vibes. But here's the thing. It's the 1920s. And a new groundbreaking elements are revolutionizing the biostructure of our world. It's a customizable worker placement game in which each player has a blue, a yellow, and a red worker. Each time the player places a worker, they will activate that location's action, plus an additional action determined by the worker's color. The player who has best harnessed the newfound powers of the biopunk universe, uses them to collect the most amount of points after 4 years or rounds, will win the game. So you've got contracts, in-game bonuses. It does have a solo mode. There's tile placement, worker placement of different worker types. So I think this is one of the games that I would really enjoy. It's from 1 to 4 players, an hour to an hour and a half. So it really fits within the confines of the kind of games that I'm looking for. 1 to 2 hours is really kind of my sweet spot for games, and this is hitting it. So I'm sending you to go check out Mutagen at Dranda Games. The next booth I want you to check out in Hall 3 is Fantasia Games. Fantasia Games, this is in Hall 3, booth S110. And that is to check out 2 games specifically, but another one is thrown in there that's from another company called Pika Games. And we'll get to that one in just a moment. The first 2, the first one is called Unconscious Mind. And first of all, the idea reached out to me first of all. It says, through dreams, Freud's followers delve into their clients' unconscious minds. Ooh, this brings back to me memories of the movie Dreamscape back in the day. 80s movies, horrible special effects compared to today's fare, but that's what it made me think about. And the second thing that grabbed onto me is that I saw Mr. Vincent Dutrait's name in the artists section. Now, he's not the only one that did the artwork for this, but he's one of the artists, so I'm in like Flynn. But now the third thing that has brought me to this is Johnny Pack. Johnny Pack is one of the designers for it, and he's one of my favorite designers from past days. But if you take a look at some of the artwork in this game, it's phenomenal. Not just Vincent Dutrait's artwork, but all of it is really good. Some of the mechanisms, you have contracts, in-game bonuses. I love doing that kind of stuff. Melding and splaying of cards, open drafting, programmed movement. So this is all an interesting game that has some of Vincent Dutrait's artwork in it. So I'm on board. Now, the second game that is at this booth is a card game version of Unconscious Mind called Dream World. And again, we've got some Vincent Dutrait artwork going on, and Johnny Pack is the sole designer of this card game. So I am in. Says, through dreams, delve into the unconscious minds of your clients. So this is sounding like a boiled down version of Unconscious Mind, and it's just a card game version of it. So this one's only 20 to 30 minutes, 1 to 4 players. So I am in. Hand management, simultaneous action selection, victory points as a resource. So the first 2 are really kind of hitting home for me. The third one, I don't really like using victory points as resources, but it works. There have been, Valbauer did the same thing. You use victory points as resources during the game. So I enjoy that kind of thing. So I want you to go check out these 2 games. Now, as an addendum to that, there's going to be another game that's going to be there from another company called Pika Games. And this one is called Flow. From the size of the card and how long it played, I thought it was a card game, but I'm wrong. Area movement, tile placement, variable player powers. Yes, I was the artwork grabbed me. Hey, I'm an aesthetic person. I'm sorry. Sue me. But I'm an aesthetic person. Embark on heroic journeys across the iceberg sea. And if you look at some of the artwork here, it looks great. It looks very thematic. But it says, explore the ever-changing iceberg islands and discover long-lost secrets. Sail the windy waves in search of sunken treasure and daring adventure. Fight fearsome monsters on your journey into the frozen heart of the ice. Or kick back and enjoy some noodle soup. Kelp noodle soup. Ugh, kelp noodle soup. I don't know about that. But here we go. While you're there, check it out on Conscious Mind and Dream World. Check out Flow as well, because it looks like a great game. It's got some cool mechanisms. The next booth I want you to go check out at Hall 3 is Giochix.it. Giochix.it, or Giochix. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's Giochix.it. And that is to check out their game Temple of Horrors. Here it is. Listen to this. Here's the line. A D&D session in a board game. Find the mighty artifact hidden in the temple. 1 to 4 players, an hour to an hour and a half playtime. And it says a mighty artifact is hidden in a forgotten temple. An obscure spell makes it unreachable. The only way to break this arcane magic is to find the tombs of the evil champions which rest in the temple. Evocate them, evocate, I guess would be the right way to pronounce that, and defeat all of them. Find the artifact and escape the temple before all of the evil creatures dwelling there wake up. So it looks like it's cool. It's a cooperative game, grid movement, modular board, having movement points. There's a semi-cooperative nature to it. I don't know what that means. Variable player powers. will also be there. So each person's probably going to have their own character and have their own special abilities and all that kind of thing. But it's a dungeon crawl. It's got some neat looking miniatures in it. I like the modular board setup of it. And this looks like something I would enjoy. So I'm sending you to go check it out. The next booth in Hall 3 is going to be Artipia Games. This is going to be Hall 3 booth W120. And this is to check out a game called Firefighters on Duty. My grandpa was a retired firefighter. He also spends his time now, when he's able to, leading groups through as a tour guide through the San Antonio Firefighters Museum where he lives. So firefighters have a special place in my heart. This one looks cool. A thrilling, real-time, not so much on that, but it's a real-time cooperative game. So you're not doing real-time against other people, you're doing real-time with people, and that is one of the ways that I enjoy real-time. But a thrilling real-time cooperative game where teamwork sparks victory. 1 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes. It says, step into the heat and embrace your heroism with Firefighters on Duty, a real-time cooperative board game for 1 to 4 players. Players immerse themselves in intense 2-minute rounds in which they manage an entire fire department. They're tasked with dispatching vehicles and firefighters across the city, extinguishing fires, saving civilians, and safeguarding property. So it's a cooperative game. Dice rolling is there. There's scenario missions and campaigns, and it's also kind of a simulation of running a fire department. So this one reached out to me. I would definitely be going to check it out there at Artipia Games. The next booth I would have you go visit is actually Lucky Duck Games' booth. But Cardboard Alchemy is going to be there showing off their Critter Kitchen game, and that's going to be Hall 3, booth S124. Gather ingredients to satisfy food challenges and impress a celebrity critic. It's a game for 2 to 5 players, and it lasts, check this out, 55 to 70 minutes. That is strangely exact. So we'll see how that happens. Sandara Tang is the artist, and I believe that's the same artist as Flamecraft. So you kind of get the idea of the kind of artwork that's going to be in the game. It's going to be very beautiful, and from the pictures that I've seen, it looks great. So it's Restaurant Week in Bistro Bay. Restaurants are competing in food challenges while also planning an epic meal to impress a celebrity critic. You'll be sending chefs out into the city to gather ingredients to create amazing meals and demonstrate that your restaurant is the best in town. So you've got contracts, program movement, variable player powers. I like all of those. So I'd be going to check out Critter Kitchen if I were there. The last booth I'd be sending you to in Hall 3 is Glass Cannon Unplugged's booth. That is going to be Hall 3, booth V, as in Victor, 102, and that is to check out the Apex Legends, the board game. Pick your legend, round up your squad. This is another first-person shooter video game that is making the pass over into the board gaming realm. It is very popular with some of my kids. I think 3 out of the 4 of my boys. I think all 4 of my boys have played it, but my son Aiden right now is super into it. So Apex Legends, the board game, is a highly competitive, intensely tactical team versus team miniatures game for 2 to 4 players. Each playthrough takes about 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the number of players and selected game features. So the mechanisms are grid movement, hand management. There are interrupts, so there's probably going to be some cards that other people can play on when it's your turn to interrupt your movement. There's the line of sight, multiple maps. So it's basically a first-person shooter board game translation. That's what it is. But it's got a super big IP attached to it, so I'd be interested in checking it out. So I'm sending you. And the last booth happens to be in Hall 2. The last booth on my list is going to be in Hall 2, and that is Garfield Games booth in Hall 2, D106. D is in dog, 106, Garfield Games, and that is to check out no less than 2 games. The first one is one that I have been really wanting to check out, and that is Ezra and Nehemiah. So Shem Phillips SJ McDonald are the designers. It looks like a very intense game. I will not lie to you, but the subject matter, here's what Board Game Geek says. In his first year as king of Persia, Cyrus the Great issued a decree in writing to the Israelites, exiles living under his rule, quote, "The God of heaven has given me all the kingdoms of the earth and has appointed me to build a temple for him in Jerusalem. Any of his people may go up to Jerusalem and Judah to build the temple of the Lord, the God of Israel, and in any place where survivors may now be living, the people of Persia are to provide them with silver, gold, goods, livestock, and offerings of the temple of God in Jerusalem." Ezra 1, verses 2 to 4, and it is paraphrased. But you get the idea. Cyrus the Great is allowing the Israeli refugees, if you want to name them that way, to go back to the city of Jerusalem to build up the temple. And so that's what the theme of this game is. I'm automatically interested. Period. End of discussion. But what are some of the mechanisms? Hand management, tech trees and tech tracks, track movement. You're going to be chaining different kinds of powers together. You're also going to have a variable setup and boom, worker placement, one of my favorite mechanisms. So I really think that this is going to be a knock out of the park. There's been a lot of buzz. A lot of people are looking forward to it, and so am I. But that's not the only reason why I'm sending you to Garfield Games booth. The other one is, and I would be remiss, JT will probably punch me in the face if I don't mention this, Scholars of the South Tigris. I would be wanting to go check this out just so that I could report back to JT. He loves Garfield Games. He loves these blank of the cardinal direction blank. He loves those games. So, Scholars of the South Tigris, S.J. McDonald, Shem Phillips, again, are the designers. It's set during the height of the Abbasid Caliphate, circa 830 AD. The Caliph is called upon the keenest minds to acquire scientific manuscripts from all over the known world. Players will need to increase their influence in the House of Wisdom and hire skilled linguists to translate the foreign scrolls into Arabic. So what are some of the mechanisms? Area control, deck, bag, or pool building, dice rolling, hand management. There's a rondel mechanism. JT is already sold. Tech trees, worker placement with dice workers. Yes! I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'd really be looking forward to this one as well. So hopefully that you've got something here. I've given you booths in no less than 3 halls to go check out at Essen. I've given you 11 booths and no less than 15 games. So you've got your work cut out for you. This message will self-destruct. I'm just kidding. It won't. But I do want to thank you for joining me. I certainly appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your time at Essen as well. And let me know how it goes. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.